Hi everyone. So here's an update on what I've been working on with LVNAuth. So I've been working on conditions in LVNAuth. So kind of like an if statement, for example, except I call it a case statement. And I've also worked on mouse interactions or mouse events. So I'll show you what I've been working on. So here's an example. So now you can actually create buttons similar to this, and it has the ability to detect when a mouse is over a sprite. So before, this functionality didn't exist, but this is actually what's going to be coming out in the next version of LVNAuth. And the other is a case statement. So here it says, do you like winter? If you click yes, it'll show you a sentence related to winter. And if I just rerun this again, and if I say no, do you like winter? No. Warm weather is nice. I miss summers. So now for the first time in LVNAuth, a visual novel author will be able to branch out their story in different ways depending on what the viewer selects. So this is done using some new commands that have been added to LVNAuth. So the first one, I'll show you the case statement. So we have a case statement here. And this is a pre-release. Once this version is done, I'll release it as version 0.6, most likely. So there is a case statement here. And so it's evaluating a variable. The variable name is likes_winter. And this was defined under variables here. So likes winter, there's currently no value. We actually give it a value based on what's here. So these are some of the new commands. There's on mouse click, there's on mouse enter, and on mouse leave. So these are the new commands that have been added to LVNAuth. So in this case, when the mouse is clicked, the decision that it's going to send to a reusable script is this one. So first of all, this is the name of the dialog sprite. It's called button 1. This is the name of the reusable script that it's going to run whenever this sprite gets clicked. And this is the value that it's going to pass into this reusable script. And same thing with button 2. This is the no button. So in this case, it's going to run the exact same reusable script as the yes button, but it's going to pass in a decision of no. So again, this is the name of the reusable script. It's called yes, no button handler. So if I go over to the reusable section here, there's yes, no button handler. And here we're setting the value of this variable. And this is the argument that we're getting in. So we're basically passing either a yes or a no, depending on which sprite actually was clicked. So it's going to set the variable to the value that was passed in, depending on what was clicked. And then we're going to hide both buttons. So the yes and no button, so button 1 and button 2. You can, I could have called them something else. I could have called it like yes button or no button. Maybe that would have been easier. And this is also another new command that's been added. That's coming out in version 0.6. So this is similar to the halt button, but it halts it. So in this case, it's unhalting it, but you can actually halt your visual novel and then also pause it as well. Because when these two buttons are being displayed, if we didn't pause it, then clicking anywhere else in the visual novel would actually advance the story. It would advance the main script. So in other words, if we just use halt by itself, we can just click and it'll resume the story, which isn't what we want. And I'll show you an example. So this is where it asks the viewer a question. And yeah, this is the question, do you like winter? And here we're halting and we're pausing the main script. But let's say if I just decided to halt it without pausing it. I'm just going to comment this out so it doesn't run. I'm going to save it, run it. And you'll see here, if I click anywhere in the visual novel, it tries to advance the story. And because I haven't chosen yes or no, it's throwing it off based on the script that I had. But in order to prevent this from happening, we would need to use Halt, and it would have to pause the main script as well, which is why this new command was made. So now if I run it, and if I click anywhere else on the story, it doesn't advance it at all. Okay, so that's one of the new commands. And again, as soon as a sprite button gets clicked, then it unhalts the story and it unpauses it as well, which means it's the same as the user or as the viewer clicking the mouse on the visual novel to advance the story. That's all about dialogue sprites, and you can also use on mouse enter and all these other new commands with objects as well as character sprites. So going back to the case statement here, so if the case of this variable is, so this is kind of like an equal symbol, if it's yes, then it's going to run this, and this is where we end the case statement. This is another case statement, and here we're saying that if it's no, then it's going to run this, and this is where we end the case statement for no. So this is like one block. This winter check section is used to give the case a name, and this is actually used when you want to use an OR case statement, because you can have an OR logic as well, and the OR logic needs the name of what it's comparing to. So so you'll be able to, for example, say OR case, and then likes winter is something else, like that. And this will compare the case statement with the line above it, or whichever case statement that uses the same name. So in other words, all cases will essentially have to have a name associated with them. Aside from this, there's also some bug fixes coming out. So it's going to be a pretty big release, because there's like conditional commands now, and there's support for mouse interactions and events. So I just wanted to give you a quick update to show you what I've been working on. And again, this is going to be in version 0.6. Right now, the latest one that's available is 0.5, and that's available for download on FlatHub as well as the Snap Store. Until the next update, have a nice day.